Hey guys, it's Babypowder, and we're back with another one of our clean out videos for our 200 run series part 2. And this time it's going to be for week 27. In week 27, we're finally going to, well, actually, no, for the clean out, we're going to be doing our second week of Islands. So we'll see how well that went. I was about to say we're wrapping up Islands, but no, we will be wrapping up Islands this week, but that'll be next week's clean out. But the loot video will be coming out this week. So of course, if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do so you don't miss that. Also, you know, if you guys do end up liking this video, go ahead and smash the big thumbs up. Let me know that you like it. I figured go ahead and mention it now since I was mentioning a video coming up anyway. But anyway, to the review here, guys, let's go ahead and take a look. Week 27. For week 26, how did we do? Well, we did really well. Either way, whatever we do from here on out is going to be good because we've already reached our goal of 10 million. We actually did that on week 24, which was 10 weeks before we actually hit it with the first series. But again, the first series was kind of slow played with only adding loot from one farm every single week. This one, actually, we just added stuff to the auction house as soon as we got it. And a lot of times, you know, especially with the shorter dungeons, we were adding like 2 dungeons, you know, worth of loot to the auction house each and every week. So we were knocking it out pretty fast. But anyway, as far as this week or last week, we ended up making 828,469 golds. Really good week. It was actually our second highest week so far. That brought us to a grand total of 11,238,094 gold, which is 1,238,000 gold above our goal. So far, Thrall is actually making us the most amount of gold. That wasn't how it was throughout like the whole series until actually week 24 when we hit our goal. That was when they first took the lead from Proudmoore. Again, we're just using the 2 realms to hit as much gold as we possibly can. So we do trade items and we do try to just make as much as we can with those 2 realms, but it's kind of nice to see which one's performing better than the other. And Thrall has just been performing, you know, really good here lately versus Proudmoore was in the very beginning. Proudmoore and Thrall both did really well last week though. Proudmoore made us 226,000 of that last week, almost 227, and Thrall made us 601,000. So far, Proudmoore has made us 5,390,000 and Thrall has made us 5,848,000 of that 11,238,000. As far as where we're making our gold, majority of our gold is made with transmog. So far, we've made 9,893,000 from transmog alone, and just last week it was 815,000 of that amount we made was made from our transmog. And with our materials, it has helped out with 1.3 million, and 13,000 was what they brought us last week, which was just pretty much the pets from Islands, which honestly, I mean, they sometimes sell really well, sometimes they don't. It all depends. With that, that is pretty much, you know, everything as far as the realms for the 200 run series. Now, looking back on series 1, they actually did make, after their week 27 clean out, they were at 7,238,000, so we'll be above them no matter what we make. But they did actually have a pretty decent week this week. They actually made 334,350 goals, so that will be kind of a, you know, goal to try to beat them. Of course, our goal majority of the time is just to hit at least 200,000 every week, but we like to see that we could actually beat what series 1 made as well. So we'll be aiming to see if we can do that this week. It actually has been a really good week, at least you can see with my other realms where we actually transferred all those items from series 1 down there. We're still keeping track of those items. It's just kind of passive gold, other than I have to post the items up on the auction house, but we're not adding anything new to those bank calls, although it is 2 new rounds because we used Proudmoore and Thrall again for this series. But they made us 533,000 this week, so really good. Still making a lot of gold after 27 weeks of just passively making gold with those. And actually, it's been longer than 27 weeks of making passive gold with those realms and those items, because we were doing that for, I don't know, a good like 4 weeks, maybe more, before we actually start this series. So yeah, they've been making us some passive gold quite often. We still got a decent amount of items on there. Of course, as we sell more, you know, the items start to dwindle down a little bit, but we did have a lot of stuff, you know, backed up into our, you know, banks with the bank alts for the original series, so they had a lot to trade over and keep them stocked up for quite a while. And that's what's really nice about farming transmog, is you can continuously make gold off of these items. You know, even this series right here, I'll be able to make gold for, you know, quite a while before I'll need to actually go out and farm again to try to make gold. But anyway, as far as how much they've made us since we've started this series, they've made us 8,540,000 gold. And yeah, that's quite a bit. Plus, you know, I'm making gold in other areas too. But anyway, I think that's pretty much going to wrap it up as far as the review goes. I do gotta apologize. I still am a little bit under the weather, so if I do sound a little bit funny, I do apologize about that. But I'm gonna try to get through this as best we can. I am getting a little bit better, but I think my voice still hasn't quite recovered completely. But as always, guys, we will jump to our first bait call. It is going to be our we're going to start off with Prowmore. We'll check out the low value transmog, then the high value transmog, and then we'll take a look at the materials, which actually is just going to be pets from the islands. And then we'll take a look at Thrall and see what they did on their end. All right, guys, so here we are to our first bank call. It's going to be Prowmore low value transmog. How do they do? We want to at least try to see somewhere around 30,000-40,000, and like to see at least about 1,000 average gold made per cell. So let's take a look, see how well they did. And we've got 47 cells, 48,000, 41 gold. So it's right there at those parameters. It's actually a little bit above that 30 to 40,000, almost 50,000. So that's really good. Not quite as good as last week. Last week, I think we had like over 60 or right around 60,000 with Prowmore, and we had like over 100,000 with, but you can't always have winners, right? And it's still, this is actually a winner. I mean, we just did really well last week. But anyway, let's go ahead and see what standouts we got. So first up, we got the Prospector's Mitts here for 4,000. Not a bad one there. We got Glorious Helm here for 5,000. Did I say 5? This was 4,000. This is 5,000. Then we got the Death Web Gauntlets for 3,200. Death Web, that comes from Iron Docks, I believe it is. I know it's WOD. I can't remember if it's Iron Docks. I'm pretty sure it's Iron Docks. And then we have the Outland Shield is 2,300. Let's see, one more here. We got a pattern for Bracers of Havoc for 1,300. We got another one here, Plated Fist of Haku for almost 5,000. Venom Shroud Vest for 1,100, almost 1,200. We also have a Needle Threader for 2,700. High Chief's Sabatons for almost 4,000. And then we have Elegant Leggings sold for 2,400. All right, guys, and now on to our high value transmog for Prowmore. How well did we do? Well, we want to see at least 100,000 is what we like to see, and then we want to see around 10,000 average per cell. Let's see if we did it. And we've got 10 cells, 217,660 gold. So yes, we definitely did do it. So 200, I mean, that's like double those parameters, a little bit above that actually. I have some low ones here with the Girdle Insight, but you know, that one does tend to sell low. Dwarven Hand Cannon is actually really low as well, so I'm not really worried about those. Pattern for the Red Lumberjack shirt, 15,000, again selling above that like 9,000 we were seeing. So that's actually decent. We also have the Miststalker's Graphs here for 78,000. Nice. I think these are actually from Islands too. Miststalker's Pants as well for 23,000. So really nice sales on both of those. Another Red Lumberjack shirt pattern. This one a little bit lower at 12,000. And then we have the pattern for the Blue Dragon Scale Leggings. That came from BRD. Those actually are pretty rare, seeing that they only drop in the last room. Now, if you only go after these, you know, it's not that bad of a farm, because I mean, you can do 10 runs in like less than 30 minutes if you're just going straight to that last room. But we were doing full runs. So anyway, 47.50 for that one right there. We also have the Shadeback waistband here for 1,500. We have a Windtalker bow that's from BC, 19,000. And then a pattern for the Blue Workman shirt. Wow, really nice value on this one. I think this is the first time I've actually sold one this high on these patterns. So 60, almost 61,000 on that. Actually, before the cut, it was 63, almost 64,000. So yeah, really nice sell on that one. All right, guys, so the last big alt for Prowmore before we switch over to Thrall is going to be our, well, really it's just going to be toys and it's going to be pets from our islands, because we don't have any materials right now doing islands. We will once again when we actually do switch back to our last two dungeons, which actually I am going to do those a little bit differently than I have them scheduled, which I'll show you guys when we actually go over the sheet again. But anyway, let's take a look, see if we sold anything. And we got one sell, 136 gold. Really bad this week. We still have a lot of pets, and you can't see I'm covering up a bunch with my face too with a full bag here, but yeah, and we'll have more after we finish this week's islands. Now sometimes these things tend to sell rather fast, but then sometimes kind of slow this week. So transmog was selling really fast this week, but or selling really good at least, and we just didn't really see the sales with the pets. We'll have to see if Thrall actually sold any. All right guys, so now here we are back to low value transmog, and this time though is for Thrall. Let's see how well they did compared to Proudmoore. Now we're still aiming for those same parameters, and we got 34 sales, 57,562 gold. So they actually did way better than Proudmoore did with the low value. Now they actually do tend to be the ones that do the best with the low value, not every single week, but they're the only ones that have actually had over 100,000, and twice now they've had over 100,000 in their low value sales alone. So definitely getting good value out of the low stuff over here. At least Proudmoore though in the past has some, a good majority of the time actually been a lot better in the high value stuff. Not recently, but they have. Let's go ahead and see what standouts we have though. We have the Minotaur at 1100, so pretty decent there. Minotaur that actually CF, I think, maybe. Anyway, Tangle Heart legs, 3100. We also have the Brittle Flame Reaver treads here for 6800. Brittle Flame Reaver, pretty sure that is from what is it, Isle Thunder. So kind of shocked we still have some of that stuff laying around. That was from the very beginning. Let's see, Feral Harness sold for 9400. We also sold Dragon Wing Blade for 9400. The Dragon Wing Blade, is that the one from BC that actually looks just like the Demon Slayer? I think it is. I could be wrong on that. Anyway, Enchanted Kodo bracers here for 3500. We also have the Bloodlust Helm for 1600. Aristocratic cuffs here for 1900, and then we have two Midnight Maces here for 2800 each. And then we also have a Buccaneer's vest. Actually kind of shocked to still have some of those. Well, we did get a bunch of those, from a lot of different dungeons. So anyway, 3100 for that one. And then we also have Tomb Keeper's Spalders here for 1200. All right guys, so back to high value transmog, but for Thrall, and this is going to be, we have actually hit our goal already of 200,000. We haven't quite beat Series 1's Cleanout this, for their week number 27. So this will be the deciding factor on whether or not we can beat that. Let's see how well Thrall did compared to Proudmoore. And we've got 13 sales, 215,280 gold. So they actually didn't beat Proudmoore, but just by barely didn't beat them. But given what they made with their low value transmog above Proudmoore, they actually still probably are ahead of Proudmoore. It's going to be really close. Anyway, 13 sales, 215,000. So again, they are at their perimeters. It's looking really good. Let's take a look at what we sold here. So we got the Saber of the Faceless Moon for 8,800. We also have bow, seer, and arrows for 9,500. Definitely get a lot of those. This is a world drop epic. We get the Glorious Breastplate here for 19,000. Mark of Kern, actually a super item from Scarlet Monastery. For the cut, it should have been, it probably was 50,000. Yeah, right at 50,000. I have it in an inflated group, so wasn't expecting too much. I was just hoping for like 50 to 100,000 for this. It is like, when it dropped, it was valued at like gold cap, but again, it's a ring. It is a super drop, but at the same time, with it being a ring, I mean, that is a really good sell to me. 50,000 for a ring is really good, especially when a lot of times we sell for under 1,000 gold. You can't really transmog it. Maybe one day you can, and maybe it'll actually have some value, but yeah, it's pretty much worthless right now. Anyway, pattern for the Swift Flight bracers, and those Northern Diorama patterns there. This is one of the blue ones that sell really low. We also have a Dragon Rider's harness here for 12,000 from Islands. Plundered Swarmer's Blade for 2,300. Vipro Blade from Nomergon sold for 90,000, and it was like 95,000 when it sold. But yeah, not bad, not bad. I know that one's valued really high too. I think it drops, it's like 300,000 or something, but it's overinflated a little bit. Now it is probably the most valuable piece out there in Nomergon, other than the actual supers, but and yeah, you definitely can get a little bit more than that. I think I have gotten, you know, above 100,000 for it before, maybe even close to 200. I think I got like 180 for one, so like double that. But yeah, it's not likely. So I'm okay with getting that, especially with how long we've been sitting on it. Witching Staff sold for 523 gold. It's a pretty bad sell on that one. We also have the Pattern of Black Belt of Knowledge sold for 11,000. We just recently got that one. Can't remember which one it came from, but I remember saying I think that's the first time I've ever seen that. But that's one of those BC patterns. We also got the Watchman Pauldrons here for 1,700. And then we have the Dragon Rider's Harness for 9,400. And then Plundered Swarmer's Blade for 1,400. So not too bad. Definitely nice to go ahead and get rid of that ring there and get a decent sell off of it. And the Viper Blade, I'm actually pretty, you know, happy about as well. All right, guys, so it's our last bank alt for week 27. It's going to be our, it used to be materials, but pet bank alt for right now. For Thrall, let's take a look. And again, only one sell, but at least it brought better value than what Proudmoore had. They actually have 1,138 gold, and that is with the Shade Feather hatchling here. All right, guys, so the numbers are in. Here we go. Here is how we did this week for week 27. We made 538,543 gold with our transmog alone. So really good week. Not quite as good as last week, but hey, you can't have them all be super, super high, but that's still pretty high compared to some of our other ones. And then we only made 1,200 gold with our pets. So yeah, it was just a bad week for those pets this week. Actually, in the week before that was pets too. We made 13,000. So they actually, you know, do have some decent weeks, and some weeks we may even make more than that. But anyway, our total for the week after adding everything together is 539,817 gold. Which is below what we made last week again, but that does bring our total now to 11,777,000 gold, which now means we are 1,777,000 above our goal of 10 million, which is great, almost 2 million above that goal. And that also means that we beat our week 27 from our series 1. They only made 334,000 and we made 539,817 gold. So really good there that we were able to beat that, and you know, we made a decent amount of gold, right? But anyway, as far as our transmog, we have now also hit over 10 million gold made just in transmog, with given the totals this week. With that, we have now made 10,432,000 with transmog alone. And with our materials, it didn't really change much. We've made 1,345,000 with materials slash pets, right? And then as far as our realms go, Thrall did actually make the most this week. Wasn't by too much. It was really close. Proudmoore actually made a little bit more with the high value transmog, but Thrall made quite a bit more actually with the low value transmog. So with that, Proudmoore made us 265,837 gold this week. Thrall made us 273,980 gold this week, bringing the totals to 5,655,000 Proudmoore has made us so far, and Thrall has now made us 6,122,000 gold with this series. So really good, especially with, you know, how far behind Thrall was from Proudmoore. Now they have really turned it, and they're almost 500,000 above Proudmoore at this point. Oh, also guys, I did mention what I was going to change here. So we had Shattered Halls in the Mechanar for next week, and we were going to do both of those, but I have again started doing the 1,000 run series, and I'm working on LBRS right now. And instead of taking and putting a pause on that, like we've kind of done before with, you know, the series 1, we're actually going to continue to do it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to extend this out a little bit more. They'll give us more cleanouts too to go over, right? So I'm going to take Shattered Halls, and then on the side work on the 1,000 run series, and then Mechanar, and same thing. Right, so we don't have to put a halt on that, because if I do 2 dungeons, I have to take all my speed droids away, and I have to throw them into those dungeons, and it puts that on a pause, and I don't want to do that. I want to get some more of those 1,000, because I'm actually thinking of other dungeons I might actually add to that series as well. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much going to wrap this one up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. We made some good gold, right? If you did, go ahead and smash that big thumbs up. Lets me know that you like it. Also helps out the channel. And do not forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you do not miss the next one or miss one of the loot videos so you can see what we're getting and we're putting up on the auction house to make these sales. Anyway, guys, again, that's going to do it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope to see you all in the next video and live sometime on Twitch. Take care, guys.